I like to share with you one of the team's stock finance. Wall Street stop lending to AI. So 42,000 every 100,000 were one bet. Okay, so 42,000 every 100,000 in one bet. And so if you have $100,000 sitting in plain index fund, the morning and the 42,000 is riding on the bet. Wow. Not 42 company, one bet. And this is summer, 3 of big bank. American quietly try to get out of mess. They couldn't find everyone willing to take off this can. Almost nobody report. Here's what happened. Why Orego had that 400 billion. Because Orego borrowed the $38 billion to build a data center in Texas and Wisconsin. And JP Morgan Stanley at the Japanese bank called to the SMBC put the loan together. Okay, and Japanese bank called to the SMBC. So the hard part come next. A bank that not keep loan, not big. It cut the loan into the piece and sell the piece to other lender. So that is business over piece of other lender. So how it always work? But they have been trying to sell those piece more than 6 months, and nobody take over. So some of them are not offer their piece at a discount. They're just banker languages. And somebody take this because because it is go somewhere. So the bank say no, and somebody eventually say yes. The 38 billion loan nobody would buy. And who say yes? The whole story. We open the secret. And he dig the thing like this. His reason. He cut it. Because why? And he is explain what the mean was a bank say no good business. And every bank has internal rule about how much they can lend out. Because I did the syndicate loan for aircraft finance. I know what is about the bank. Every bank have to avoid the risk. For syndicate loan is those bank put the margin together and diversify the risk. Especially aircraft business, airline business. So that's why they diversify risk. So normally syndicate, I have this. It's a European bank, so aircraft finance, however. And that time we have like a import bank, and they can offer like a 50% discount. So every bank has internal rule about how much is lent to the one industry, and think like it. However, so bank call the concentration. So bank call it concentration, and it is so that the one bad industry cannot take the whole bank down. So that's a bank have a risk, and bank also have a reinsurance. You see, bank and ask a client they have to reinsurance so on. However, including bank themselves. However, so why reinsurance? Why needed this? The bank prevent collapse. So a French bank called Crédit Agricole hit its own data center limit in July and started selling off the piece of loan in Hong Kong. Okay, French bank. And Morgan Stanley has been quietly asking other investors to take some of the risk. Okay, so they are not a charity, of course. Those are bankers, they know how, at least even they are not really make a profit, they have to totally reduce all kind of risk. And they want this business, they are turning away because they are full. And what is full? The sites, the thing they are trying to finance. The four company is Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Meta, and told their shareholder they plan to spend between $745 billion this year alone, and building the data center in 1 year. And the number is too big to fear. Yeah, it's too big to risk. So let me put its next something in. What kind of concentration actually divide across every household in America? It's come to roughly 5,400. Okay, so it's like comparative with household, and they have roughly $5,400 a house. This is new, and this year grocery a couple, and this is what is this one industry spending per American home in 12 months. They are not paying off, it's out of their checking account. For 5 years, this company borrow about $28 billion a year between them. Mortgage and borrowing them is 2025. They borrow the borrowing is in 2025. They borrowed 121 billion 4 times. Oh my God. Borrowing, B-O-R-I-N-G. In 2025, they borrow 125 billion 4 times. In just first 5 months, a year, and 159 billion. So Meta did $30 billion in a single day last October. 6 different bonds and another deal. And for the 40 years investor put in 125 billion in order. So they fighting get a piece. And they are not fighting anymore because back in February, the deal getting about $5. And every dollar July under 2, and Amazon come to the market in July. Okay. Amazon come to the market in July, had to pay the extra. And the deal is down. So Bank American own analysis role is plenty. Investors are pushing back now. So why does any of this reach your kitchen table? Because how they build the deal, and this is the part of the story, and I have to tell. He told us, because I have been this exact share before. It's not going to work, okay, and 745 billion in 1 year. Where the money come from? In 2006, I walked into the mortgage. Okay, so however, his experience about the mortgage business and the car finance. The car finance rule was scripture. if you put 5%, however, anything you mortgage is like a house kind. You put a 5% down payment and lower the sale price and appraisal. No cheating is normal procedure. And the first week the mortgage, somebody sent me down, explain long called pick a pack the tax 1%. The 1% charge about the 10. The 9 point, and you did not collect and add them to what the borrower owe. So justice by holding what is house predict to be. Yeah. You pay the down payment and then you get the mortgage loan. And then you have to pay each month, every year, until you finish your loan, so on. But actually, the bank is earned for the interest, you see, because you, however, I remember asking the guy, you are letting them borrow your future value? He said, yes. I was slow 2 years later, and the lender who loaned most of this loan got a boat about $25 billion, and the loan book helped kill the buyer. Now let me tell you how Meta financed data center in Louisiana last October. The Meta investment firm called Blue Owl set up a separate company on the building. Blue Owl owned 80%. This Meta owned 20%. The project cost about $27 billion, and Meta put in hand and the construction and already paid for, and then took roughly $3 billion in cash to back out the deal. So Meta got paid in cash and started the project. Then Meta signed a promise: if in 16 years from now nobody wants to rent the building, Meta will make up the part of difference. So that promise is worth about $28 billion. It's not counted in the debt on the Meta book. The bond was sold privately. The single biggest buyer was the bond fund managers named PIMCO, and you letting them borrow the future value of the building. And the future, the value you have to ask, real market and the real buyer and the real, it's like an Orlando, okay? So same sentence, 20 years later, different building now. So loop I open at the top. The bank say no, who say yes? And the Moody went looking and found Moody found $662 billion of the data center rental promise across these 5 companies, and have not even started yet. And they are not the balance sheet. You say, every time you need to check the auditor, and you have to know the cash flow in this company. Every time investor, you want to invest in one company, stock or something, A share, B share, you need to check their balance sheet and their cash flow, however, and pick up the pay in 2006, letting the borrower the future value, who said $662 billion, and the word pension in the Senate later, and the Google alone disclosed $42.6 billion of land in 1 quarter from the 23.9. So quarter people and nearly double in 90 days. Nearly double in 90 days. And 662 billion is about to $5,000 per American, you see? They borrow this kind of money. Who gonna pay? Yeah, all the per American household promise. Nobody book. The Bank of the International, BIS, BIS is in Basel, is a Bank International Settlement, the central bank of the central bank. Not a guy on the internet. In March, they published a paper about this and gave the name, and they call it shadow borrowing. And the word is obligation and economic and debt, but largely aside outside corporate balance sheet. So let's say where's risk? And where is the risk go? And the private credit fund, insurance company, pension fund. So in January, United States Senator lowered the Financial Stability Oversight of Council, asking it to investigate, and their later name was holding the bag. I want you to hear. This in order: bank, insure, private credit fund. Bank, insurance, private credit fund, and the real estate trust. Real estate trust, pension, retail investor, pension in letter to the government in writing. So this is not a theory. It's Canada National Pension Plan commit $2.4 billion with partner build the data center. You see, the theory is Canada National Pension Plan commit $2.4 billion with partner build a data center. And New York City teacher had $3.5 billion a digital infrastructure. However, New York City teacher have $3.5 billion in digital infrastructures. And California teacher pension share, say out loud, that the valuation are stretched. That does not think it's bubble yet it's doing a lot of work in that sentence. So on. So who say yes? The bank handing the risk to the people. Their job is pay the retired teacher for $4,000 a month for 30 years. If you want to see how the tangle your own money is all in here, I build a screen where you can load actually holding Watchland price next and the macro pictures. That is full of packages side of the macro. Command center at the Time Talk Finance. TeamTalkFinance.com. TeamTalkFinance.com. Yeah, I got a report with TeamTalkFinance.com. And the free site show you the same TeamTalkFinance.com. So now here the second half is the half the touch your directly whether your own pension. In 2 weeks ago, I told you your portfolio was one trade wearing the mask, 5 custom, and I did not have the number. And it's worse than that. And you have been told for 40 years. Oh my God, for 40 years, index fund, how you stay safe, spread out on everything, and do not pick. The advice was true. So, however, and the 10 largest company in the S&P 500. 10 largest company in the S&P 500 now. 42% of the holdings. Nvidia alone. So you see, 2%, and Nvidia alone is 7. The 10 largest company, S&P, Now 42% of the whole thing. Nvidia alone is 7.5%. You see, give me a break and strip out. This robbery, they are robbery everyone, American or in entire world, I will tell you, not American at all, because they are international. See, they have company everywhere in the world. So they rip off everyone in the world, okay? So strip out too, and not really illustrate the artificial intelligence complex by itself. About 28% of the index, you see, S&P, and the long run average for the top 10 about 24%. So the old record was 28% in 1970. The other record was 28%. So we all pass. Okay, so if you have $500,000 in block index fund and about 210,000 in 10 companies and roughly 140,000 one single wages artificial intelligence paying off on a schedule, and you didn't choose that, nobody asked you, and the index moved underneath, and why you were doing everything you were told, and he is part of almost nobody. Oh my God, this is phony, okay? Nvidia is international finance criminal, so it is in your bond fund. A bond do not weigh by the company size, the weight by how much company owe. So the more this firm borrow and the bigger bubble, less slice, the bond fund and the technology now is about 10%. You see, technology now is 10% of investment grade bond index. So 5 companies were not even on the list of the. You see, those are companies even not on the list of American big borrower 3 years ago. Now it's alongside 6 largest banks in the country, you see. So the safe half of your portfolio bonding, the risk half. So if you are in 68 years old, holding the 60% of stock and 40% of bond, because that is carefully person, and you are on both sides of the same bed, and they will never told you $47.6 trillion of American retirement money. It sit behind those 2 sentences, you see. $47.6 trillion of American retirement money sit behind those 2 sentences. So 42% of our index fund is your belonging. Oh my God, and spread across every household in the country. It's robbery. Let's steal your money with AI. Okay, let's steal the money with your AI. And that is roughly $350,000 a home. And that is money on the table. Now I want to careful here, because I'm not telling you the machine will not work. Yeah, exactly. We not talk about artificial intelligence not work, AI. The problem is those Nvidia, those are Microsoft, those big tech try to manipulate stock price, and those cost global economic recession. And who paid? Everyone on earth paid, because they are international companies. So they are robbery now. See, the government, and they use Trump and Elon Musk. Elon Musk is big theft, big robbery on entire earth. So they might. So we have no idea. Those are phony people, Those are Taiwan media, those are American media, those are brainless, and those are BlackRock, Blackstone. They have built, they have planned build Morgan Stanley. Oh my God, it's everything from Hong Kong, you see, and Japan. Here's the thing I do know. So it's only things ever matters. Every single one of these things has who can make more. Meta can issue more bond. And the 30 billion a day can do again tomorrow. And Nvidia is now backstopping and the leftover value of some of this deal. It's on paper, and which means companies selling the chip is guaranteed what the chip will be worth it. Companies selling the chip become the AI center bank, okay? And without the bank supervisor, without the regulator, they are the bank, they are AI, they are chip, okay? And they monopoly all the entire world chip. So that is circle how these things end. Okay, so we are victim every time. So now remember, I was used first mobile is cheaper price. Now they ripple price everything. So that's why your iPhone, your telephone, cell phone, however, is more expensive because they ripple. Even the iPhone, Apple, they did this. So it did in 2008, in 2020. The man ran along, and I saw against 2006. I did not eat the loss, see. So through the price, everything you bought the next 15 years, your house has regulated, your bond have issued, your dollar have printed, and your pension has bought of the trustee, and just bought the data center debt because so every exist they are offer you as the owner, they are exactly one, and that turned the 21 million Bitcoin, you see, and the not and 21 billion Bitcoin fixed forever, no ball, no issuer, no committee, no supervisor. And that can both at 3 in the morning make more of the Bitcoin in a company. And Bitcoin does not have a chief executive who can be pressure, and they are not regulated. Even the Treasury Department, it lose money. Yeah. And Treasury Department lose money in the theater, in the business, in the SPFX, in the Trump World Liberty Fund. So there are no serve. That is somebody own. There is protocol. The protocol say 21 million, and that is the whole argument. But the Bitcoin has never once changed since 2009. Not when the Bitcoin was $3. When the Bitcoin, they are robbery, they robbery everyone all on earth. So 126,000, and every existing offer has an owner. Every other thing in this story can be made in a greater quantity. Somebody who benefit. Yeah, we have to know who benefit. And no Musk, I will tell you. And Meta, you see, Bitcoin. So that's the entire difference. And it is all an Nvidia GSM1. Hey, tell me, after Trump won to a second election, before that, and Trump bought Nvidia, and Trump was sold out India to the Nvidia, you see. And Nvidia come to Taiwan, come to Korea, come to Germany, come to everywhere to monopoly control the chip business. So that's why TSMC have a 90% of war is the end. And they take over by the Jason Wang Nvidia. So let me honest with you about with Bitcoin actually is right now, including the part hurt, because I only give you the good up. And you should stop listen to the Bitcoin around the 6.3. So Bitcoin high was 126,000. So Bitcoin is down 50%, you see. So that is real. This is not, I'm not going to call again. The Bitcoin fund you can buy on the stock exchange. I have seen about $4.5 billion. So more than half, all trading in 2026 have been days when more money let the Bitcoin fund come in. So BlackRock fund alone down 65, about 65,000 coin from where it's peak. And the Michael Saylor company, his phone guy, is the loudest buyer Bitcoin on the earth, actually sold Bitcoin in June again. First real sale is 2022. So I told you about that they are selling 2 weeks. I'm telling you again because it has not stopped. They are underwater of average coin. So I'm not going to hide any of them from you. And somebody in comment, so where Bitcoin actually including a part of a lot of hurt. So it's what I see. I look at the whole picture instead of half. So 38 billion nobody would buy. BlackRock. So in 2000, Bitcoin bottom had the 19% below. Oh, the 2017. The year the Bitcoin bottom is like, So if you repeat the line, previous Bitcoin cycle, the bottom, 12 to 30 months, see, bank got the permission hold Bitcoin. So every crash smaller than last one. And the dollar have a printer. Oh, I like to share with you one of the team's talk by Nate. Wall Street stop lending to AI. So on. 42,000. Every 100,000 were one bet. Okay, so 42,000. Every 100,000